Well, welcome everybody as you gather in. This is our webinar where we are going to be exploring mastering testing in your clinical practice. I'm Dr. Tracy Strout. I'm the Chief Health and Growth Officer right here at GetHealthy Store. So thanks for being here today. At the end, we'll have time for questions and discussion. But for now, just sit back. We are recording this. You will get a playback recording. And if you want to introduce yourself in the chat, or in the open Q&A, you can totally do that. You can also place all your questions in the chat box. Courtney is here helping me, so she will be prompting that chat box. Feel free to let me know where you're from, what state, how far you've come to watch this webinar from your couch, and we'll get started. So I use a lot of testing in my practice. I think if anybody follows me on social media, you probably know that I teach a lot about testing, how to interpret testing, especially functional blood work. From Texas. We always get a bunch of Texans in here. But I love testing. And it was one of the things that as I kind of grew in my practice, I realized, it's really valid today. We have a very educated consumer base, whether you're in functional and integrative, traditional naturopathy, whatever your scope, this discussion really matters because we need to understand the value of clinical testing. We have to identify some common roadblocks in the traditional system where people are going to find out answers about their health and they're leaving dissatisfied. And then we have to discover how bundling testing with solutions can actually streamline your outcomes for your patients and clients and also your practice. So a lot of important things that we're going to be talking about today. For those that are on this webinar right now, thank you for interacting. Can you just drop in the chat if you have a Get Healthy store or use one? And second, are you using clinical testing in your practice right now? If that answer is yes, take it one step further for me. So I'm making you remember all these questions. But have you integrated it with your Get Healthy store? And if you're not using clinical testing, Courtney will drop in a link where you can get connected with Evexia. That link is going to actually get you enrolled with Evexia Diagnostics, which is a marketplace for testing, and I will show you that here in a moment. They have everything from blood serum, which is their connection is with LabCorp. Also, they have specialty tests that can be sent to your patients and clients' home, which is really valuable because then people can do the testing in the comfort of their own home. So all of this is going to help you get better data-driven decisions, higher compliancy, because people like tangible. They like to be able to see improvement, even if they're not feeling it out of the gate. So a lot of things like that. But this is Evexia Diagnostics. You will sign up here. If you have this already, but it's not integrated to your Get Healthy store, you simply go to Tools. You're going to drop down to EMR integration. Again, some people don't find this real streamlined. You can see all the things that Evexia will actually connect to, but this is where you want to go to the Get Healthy store. And then yours will say activate integration. Mine is already integrated. Once you do that, there'll be a pop-up form, very simple, a few points that you'll fill out. And then Lindsay, our catalog manager, will let you know that that's available. So very, very simple process. And just going through the chat, you already have a sign up. That's great. Signed up for Evexia through Get Healthy. Thank you. Brandon, no problem. I'm going to show you today. It actually, right there, that's how you integrate it, whether or not you use it out of the gate today, because I know this is what I always tell our team. Practices have a streamlined way of doing things right now, currently. And to ask you guys to change, sometimes it's a little bit overwhelming. So I'm going to show you some things that you can do that doesn't change your internal processes of how you deal with your patients and clients, but might give you a leg up on using this integration for outside of the box things. A lot of people might reach out to you on Facebook. Let's take that for example. And they'll say, hey, Dr. Brandon, I'm having some gut problems. And they might not want to commit to a consult, but you know that you could figure out if something was wrong, if they would get some testing. And so now you could actually script them a test. And the beautiful thing about our integration is you don't have to collect any data from them. We absolutely will send that recommendation to them and they can fill out what they need in order to get that streamlined. So this is what we're trying to do for you. We know that it's not just chair to chair anymore. if you're like me, people reach out to you everywhere. And I can't always capture them in an appointment, but I can capture them in a product recommendation and soon to come, a test purchase. So this is where this is all leading to help you continue to have enormous reach and be able to help people without having to take the burden of those operations onto yourself. So April, as with, Evexia and lab tests for LabCorp, driving 1 to 5 hours, interesting where you live. For second, if you are practicing online, then I would assume that you're not just dealing with clients in your backyard. If that's the case, that's still okay. This webinar about testing is still going to be relevant for you. And maybe you'll glean some ideas out of it of things that you can do in your practice. So let's just talk a little bit about the importance of data-driven decisions, right? So testing creates what we call objectives, things for your patients and clients to actually do, whether that's lifestyle objectives, supplement objectives. So when you can show them a tangible marker or result on a test, they actually have some sort of visual of a goal that you're going to set for them within the next 3, 6 months, or even within the next month. It also helps reinforce that compliance. They see it, they believe it. I mean, we can tell them they have leaky gut. We can tell them that they have inflammation. We can tell them they might be hormonally imbalanced. But let's be honest, if they can see it, they believe it. And that's the unfortunate and fortunate for us as practitioners. And then data validates protocols. So when you implement a protocol and you can tangibly see their GI map improving, or their blood analytes getting better, or their thyroid markers improving, then that improves follow through with the next appointment and that next referral. I hear a lot of clinicians talk to me about referrals. They're like, I'm not getting a lot of referrals. That doesn't mean you're not doing a good job, but sometimes people don't know how to refer to you. They'll sit at a party and say, "Oh yeah, I see Dr. Smith and she's great." "Oh, really? So what happened?" "Well, I had some, issues with GI and she fixed them." "Really? So what did she do in order to do that?" "Well, she just gave me some supplements." You have to remember they are not your best marketers or salespeople. But if they say, "Well, she did some testing on me and actually my testing was really bad. And then when I went back after following her protocol, it was so improved. Let me show you. I have my test on my phone." So now that's like a tangible thing that they can talk to somebody about. Just gives validity. And then it also elevates your position as a results-oriented practitioner. This means that you're valid. You have to understand that these people are coming out of the allopathic model. And I mean, nothing against muscle testers or anything like that, but the convincing part of trying to get people to understand how muscle testing works, and they say, "Well, I'm just going to muscle test you, see if you need the supplement." And you'll be like, "Well, how does that work?" And then you have to go through a whole explanation of how muscle testing works and why it's valid. Sometimes getting their buy-in first with some testing, positioning you as a data-driven expert, and then utilizing your muscle testing if you want to validate the supplements that were selected from the results of the test, from your personal experience. Again, I'm not telling you how to practice. I'm just kind of giving you some of the barriers you might run into when you get some very medical-minded people, until you get them to understand that they are the best advocates for their health and they need to understand their body and changes. So um, those are some of the things that I would probably advocate for. And then there are challenges. So I talk to my clients a lot about health insurance. Me personally, I'm not a fan. I think it's a disease management policy, but I don't know about you guys, but for me, people will say, "Well, is that test covered by insurance?" And that's a fair question, because if they go to their PCP underneath their umbrella of healthcare, normally it will be. However, and this is where you can have the educated conversation. So I'm going to give you some tools, and then we're going to go into a little bit of demo of how I build these out. Most people have a deductible to hit. If they're more holistically minded, they might have a policy that contains a higher deductible, anywhere from $1,500 to $5,000. Now, if you think about how much testing you might need for somebody, You might need a baseline panel for blood and maybe a GI map. So in total, that might cost them $400 cash out of pocket through Evexia. And when I say baseline, that would be a CBC with differential, a CMP, a lipid panel, total serum iron. That would be about $75 through Evexia. The GI map is about $350. So you're looking around $400 or so. If they go to their PCP and they get those tests, which they can't get a GI map from the PCP, so they're going to come back to you anyway, but they get that little baseline test for $74. They may upsell it to them. They may charge more through the insurance, which let's just pretend it's $150. But now they still have a $1,500 to $5,000 deductible that they still have to meet. They're still paying cash. It's cash, cash. Whether they pay through it the Evexia way or through you, or they pay their deductible for their insurance. And you have to ask them, what is their goal by hitting their deductible? What are they trying to get to? Because they're going to pay a $50 copay at least going in to see that PCP. And then they're going to pay cash for the test to try to hit a deductible. But what's the goal for what? In order to get free disease management care? I mean, if they're coming to you, why are they so hard charged on hitting their deductible? What's their primary goal, right? Is stay out of the hospital, not get in there. So I have these conversations with people, and when you logically place it in front of them, they're like, I don't know, right? So cash is cash. Second, if I can get the results, that's better. If they get the results and I get the results and it comes quicker and I don't have any barriers in front of me and I can script what they want, I can script the blood work, I can script the GI map, I can script all the testing that I need, have conversations about what can they do, will they do, and what can they afford to do. And we have those conversations and we phase it out like, hey, we're going to do this test first, get the results, put in a plan. Then we may need this test and then we'll get the results and put it in the plan, right? And we just do this a little bit by little. They are more inclined to be compliant and coming back because A, they want to see their test results. B, they want to see improvements. And you may not need that secondary test if you're doing a great job. So them getting the results, me getting the results, and no barriers in the way is big. Because let me tell you what happens when they go to their PCP and they ask for their PCP or other people to actually do the test for them. And I'll sometimes give a list of analytes and say, hey, go to your doctor and ask for these. They may say, the allopathic physicians can't order these tests because it's out of their scope. They might also say that they're not medically necessary because you have to remember who they're standing in front of. They're looking for a diagnostic, like diagnose me with something. So I'll get clients coming back to me saying, what do you want this test for? The doctor wants to know what the diagnosis might be. And I'm like, I don't want to use it for diagnosis. I want to look at your patterns of your blood work. I want to look at how your CBC, your CMP, everything talks together. I want to look at what your adrenals doing, your leaky gut, the health of your immune system, whether you're B12 deficient. Like my goal is just to make you healthier, not to diagnose you with a disease. Like if I was going to do that, just go to somebody else, go to the allopathic model. And nothing against allopathic, because I know there's a lot of medical doctors that are functional and integrative. I'm not talking about them. I'm talking about the model. That's why I'm not saying MDs or DOs or anybody specific. So I just want to be clear on that point. But my point to saying all this is that they won't always give the testing. And if they do, there's a good chance insurance won't cover it anyway. So the practitioner is hesitant. They're hesitant to do it because in order to write it, they have to have a diagnostic code and a reason why they're writing it. Second, if it's a PCP and I'm asking for a full female hormone panel, it's out of their scope. They want you to go to an OBGYN. And hello, ladies, when's the last time your OB drew blood besides when you were pregnant? Never point never. Yeah, I know. So we have to remember what the model has been trained up to do and what we as integrative and functional practitioners are trained up to do. We are trained up to train up our people to be healthier, not to be diagnosed with something and be repressed with a medication. Not that medications are bad if they need them. And I work with a lot of integrative medical doctors for hormone replacement, et cetera, et cetera. It's out of my scope, but I have people whose scope it's in. So with all of that said, you giving tests on a cash basis and having these conversations with your clients and patients will get them results quicker, compliance will be higher, and your revenue practice profits will increase. which at the end of the day, I know you don't want to look like you're selling something, but if you're not in business, you can't help anybody, even if you live 100 miles away from everybody, April, which is okay. So those are some of the challenges that your clients and patients are up against. And they're not going to get any easier if you send them back to the PCP to get the blood markers. And then you know what happens. You do that, you give them the list, and they go and they come back with the results. And there's 5 analytes on there that you needed out of the 20 that you wanted. And that doesn't help you guys. So with our integration with Evexia, we've streamlined it for you. So not only can you stay in compliance with getting testing in front of your patients and client quickly, getting the results back quickly, but you can also bundle it with products. So right now, our Evexia integration is available in your clinical admin on the back of your store. If you have the integration. So A, you need an Evexia account, which I've showed you. Link is in the chat. B, you need to go to Evexia Diagnostics and integrate us. Remember, we're under Tools, EMR integration, and then activate. Lindsay will do that maybe 1 or 2 days tops and notify you. Once you have that built in, now you can build recommendations even if it's just diagnostic tests. So we are going to create a recommendation, and I'm going to show you how to add things to this. Let's say, for example, it's the second visit. So you and your patients are now in a consultation, and you know they need a little bit further testing. This is really important for us because not only can we refill their products in the recommendation, but we can also add any other additional testing, which is great because that's what we really want. All right, so let's select a patient. And this is under dispensary over on the left-hand side, and then recommendations. And I'm going to show you some other fun things. She's going to create a recommendation on the right and then add a patient. Now, the reason I add a patient first, you don't have to, but we need some information because this is a full integration. And what I mean by full is that once she puts a test into this, it will automatically gather date of birth, etc., and send that over to Evexia, either create the profile in Evexia, or it will actually put it underneath an already existing profile. So you don't have to worry about those duplicate profiles. If it's a minor, it'll send the parents the minor consent form. So we're going to go to add products, Courtney. Top. Yep, go ahead and pick somebody. Okay, so you can see the top tabs here, supplements, bundles, and then the Evexia testing integration, and then the next key is bundles. I'm sorry, that was my bad. And then there's miscellaneous. So if you haven't used our builder yet, all of this is available in the back for you. You don't even have to use it for testing if you don't want to. My recommendation is go back here and start building some recommendations, even just for yourself, and test it out. As long as you don't buy them, you're not getting charged. All right, so let's just go to test type, as you can see. Underneath, let's just choose specialty testing. Okay, and so what we've done is just filter this to what we call at-home specialty tests. At the top, Courtney, let's just do GI map, if you want to search that. All right, so you can see, let's just add the gut microbiome test. Now, when she saves this to the recommendation, now this is actually an AI-powered microbiome test, so if you just drop out of there to the left now, it's already in the builder itself. Now, if she wanted to add products, let's just go back to add products. Let's add a few supplements. Let's get rid of our filters. Good. And then just type in gut or GI complete at the top, something with GI in it. There you go, view all. I'm still filtering the same way. That's fun. So scroll down, let's find a supplement. There you go, gut health system. I like that. Let's add it. Now, the nice thing about bundles is, you get 3 in 1. You can just save that to the recommendation. If you want to add notes on each product, you could do that under practitioner notes, how to take the product, 2 capsules in the morning, empty stomach, whatever it is you want to do. Go ahead and save that to the recommendation. And now we're going to go out again. And we're going to go to pill packs. So we have 2 integrations with pill packs. One was Zymogen, that's a med packs, and the second one is Vitaboom. So we're going to use the Vitaboom builder. Now, Vitaboom, the difference is these are across brand. This is already on your store, guys. You don't even have to have if you have to have a Zymogen account for the Zymogen integration, for Vitaboom, we did it all for you. And Courtney, can you just check that brand list for me just so we can show them? So when I mean across brand, Vitaboom has created, top right, it says brand list, has created a bunch of different brands, and they grow this catalog, which is why we did it in a Google spreadsheet form, because Courtney's continually adding to this. So these are all the brands available on this system. So we'll jump back into the builder. So let's just filter by Healthgevity. Healthgevity is a peptide brand. Let's see. Yeah, just type Healthgevity. Good, right there. See that BPC 157? Let's add that to the builder. Perfect. Now she's added BPC 157. We're going to actually click on that product and dosing. Yes. Now let's say we want to start people out with 1,000 micrograms of BPC. If I actually click on BPC 157, the green, I will get X out of there once because I want to show them how it. So click on the thing. Yeah. Now this is going to show you the product details. Okay, supplement facts. Let's click on that because we want to know what the capsule size serving is. So this is a 500 microgram capsule. I want to do 1,000. Okay, so we're going to X out of that, click back into dosing. I love Vitaboom boxes. All right, so we're going to add a dosing to this. So we're going to do one in the morning and then we're going to do one in the PM. Boop, and then save. So now this person is doing one in the morning, one in the evening, and then maybe I want to go add some Akkermansia. So I'm going to type in there AKK. There it is. Let's add it. You have a couple of choices. You got one by pendulum. You got one by collage. Let's do pendulum. Let's take that dosage up to 2, Courtney. So you can see how you can very much customize these. So they're going to do 2 capsules in the morning with a BPC, and then they're going to do 1 BPC at night. So we're going to save that. And then save to recommendation. So now this recommendation, let's say it's on your second visit, go ahead and save it, is going to have a gut microbiome test, a gut health system, and a Vitaboom box. And just so you're aware, I want you all to be aware that you can customize these boxes. So I'm going to take my little filter off because you guys have to see this. So do you see how mine is a custom box, right? You can customize your pill packs, and I know some of you have this. Now, what is the benefit of customizing your pill pack? Because it's in your brand. It doesn't cost you anything, and people know it's you when they're taking it. It's also a reminder when this is empty for them to contact you or to make sure. And then the pill packs are just laid out like this. You can see they have directions inside the sleeve. You get the dosage chart. This is all done for you. Isn't that beautiful? So now you have a test, you have a gut health system. Maybe you're like, I don't want the gut health system. Let's just trash that one, Courtney, with the little garbage can filter. Yep. And then you can write a little love note up at the top where it says add note underneath recommendation. There you go. So, please follow the instructions in the box, whatever you want to write there. And then you can either send this, save it, or get the link, and you can hyperlink that link into whatever management system that you use for your patient. So Courtney's going to send it. She can also send it as an SMS text if you have the phone number for that person. Within seconds, this patient is going to get their Vitaboom box recommendation, etc. Now, Courtney, underneath the patients tab, can you click that? Okay, go to lab results, please. So we've done a full integration here. I want you to understand that if the patient buys this, which she will, the requisition will show up here first with tracking for the box. And then when the results have come in, it'll land here too. Now it's also in Evexia, but we tried to make it streamlined. We tried to make it so that you, as the practitioner, have a full experience. This also, if we can jump to the front of the store, Courtney, This also shows up in the patient profile on the front of the store. So up at the top is a login. All your patient would have to do is log in. You can log in as yourself, that's fine. And when this drop down occurs again, after she's logged in, you'll be able to see that she has recommendations. She also has My Labs tab on the left. Yep. And so when she can see her requisition there too. So again, we're trying to make the experience all in one place. And I think we've done that pretty seamless. Now, if you have a solution direct to patient testing through your practice, you got convenience, control, you can do bundles, you can sell tests, you can do that gut barrier test with a GI bundle, you have greater autonomy, you're increasing your revenue streams and compliance. The other thing is that you may be aware that Evexia and some other marketplaces don't allow you to upcharge these tests. And let me explain why, because I think people get upset about that. There is anti-kickback and fee splitting laws that are in some states. There's also CLIA and federal Stark law regulations, and some states don't want those. They don't abide by those. So with that said, you can do what's called a miscellaneous fee. And Courtney, if you don't mind dropping that link in the chat, and then we'll pop that up on the screen and take a look at it. And I really appreciate you helping me through this webinar. Thank you.
Of course.
So this is what's called a miscellaneous fee. And actually you can apply this to really any product on our store. But if we click on that, Courtney, this is going to allow you to put an interpretation fee on your lab. So say, for example, you script this test to Mary Jo, and she doesn't have an appointment with you, but she reached out to you on social media and you say, hey, Mary Jo, I'm going to send you a recommendation for a GI map. I charge X for interpretation fee of those results, and I'll send you an interpretation of your results. If you would like recommendations or anything based on those results, you can make an appointment because I do need a full history. Handle it that way. So Mary Jo fills out the form, right? Buys the test, gets the recommendation, pays for it, all the fun things. This fee is what you would charge. Now, I normally suggest you call it interpretation fee, but if you're going to be, giving them education or resources or a downloadable PDF, you could call it a resource and education fee. What I wouldn't call it is like a shipping and handling fee or something like that. This is really about, that would work. Analysis fee would be great. That'd be perfect. So all of this is available and you can fill this out. And so I'm just giving you ways that practitioners, this is your money too. We don't split this fee with you. This is paid out to you directly. $50, $100, $250. I always tell practitioners you need to be paid for your excellence. You're not a 501c3 unless you are a 501c3 or a 508. You're not a charity. Of course you can give services away. Of course you can create coupons that will remove this fee. So think about that as well for people that keep coming back, and maybe it's a patient of yours and you're going to script this in the dispensary where we build those recommendations. That miscellaneous fee can be removed. You don't have to send it in the recommendation. In addition to that, you can create a coupon called, no fee 100. So it removes 100% of that miscellaneous fee from the test for your patients and clients. So when you send the recommendation, you could be like, hey, Mary, here's your test. Remove the fee with remove 100. Create a coupon that's longstanding. So easy things that you can do to use the technology that we've integrated. I hope I'm not talking too much or over, or if you guys have questions or if there's too much to absorb, but my point is this: testing should be part of your practice. It should be streamlined and easy. If you want to make money utilizing tests, there's nothing wrong with that. The problem is that Evexia can't allow for it because of some legal standing issues. Please note that New Jersey, Rhode Island, and New York, they have state regulations because they are highly regulated by their own departments of health, and you have to be a licensed professional and have a direct relationship with the labs in that state. So you can't use Evexia and or Quest, any of them, for New York, New Jersey, or Rhode Island. It's just across the board. It's unfortunate, but that's how it is. So You can get paid for your expertise of looking at those tests. And remember, there's 47 other states that you can work with. There's 7.8 billion people in this world, and most of them are overweight, sick, and need your help. So does Evexia follow up on the, actually, yes, they are going to get a confirmation of their sale. They also get that from your store. And then when their results are in, they get a notification from your store saying, hi, Sarah, your script is ready in Dr. Larissa's, whatever your health store is called. I'm sorry, I don't know what it is. So I can do more custom tests from LabCorp and in the package charge for my interpretation fee. I don't know what that means. I need to figure out how that yeah. So absolutely, Angela, fill this form out. That's how you do it, and it'll be done for you magically by Lindsay. So I can do my custom test. Yes. So your panel is what you're talking about. Absolutely. My panels are in the back of my store. And here's the beautiful thing, Patricia, when you build it over in Evexia, through our API, it pulls it in automatically. You don't even have to notify us that you did that. When Evexia approves it and you approve it, it gets pulled in automatically. So very cool. And then it's yours, right? So let me just show you a few things here. Courtney, if we want to go back to the front of the store. In the future, we're just going to go home. Go home, Courtney. There you go. Under testing. Okay, so just hit all testing. So in the future, what is coming? These are tests that are on our catalog. That means we have a direct brand integration. Evexia Diagnostics has 2,800 plus tests on their catalog. We don't want you adding all of those tests, obviously, to the front of your store because it will slow your store down and crash the system. But we do want you to have the ability to add the tests that you want. In June, we are going to be creating you a marketplace where you will be able to go to your new beta catalog under lab tests, add your blood serum panels, your specialty tests, anything you want, Dutch, GI map, your panel, Patricia. I have one called Beyond the Basic Blood Work that I've added to the front of my store. All of this will be available so that your patients can go there and order their own labs or reorder based on your direction. Now, you're probably thinking, well, I don't want my patients to do that. That's okay. You don't have to do it. It is up to you to expose those tests on the front of the store or not. You can also add the miscellaneous fee to this as well. So if anybody comes to your store and buys something, they will be charged that upgraded fee for you to interpret the results. In addition to that, if you're a little high-level marketer and you use things like Active Campaign or Go High Level, you can actually connect those marketing softwares to your Get Healthy store. And let's say somebody buys the child gut health test. We'll just click that open, Courtney. When they buy this, there's something called a trigger. It will trigger your marketing software to send them a series of emails. And maybe in that series of emails, you give them a video on how to interpret their test data with product solutions and suggestions. So now you're doing a full 360 without trading time for money. So these are called lab test funnels, where you funnel people into purchasing a lab that puts them into maybe a course or a PDF download that helps them understand their test results with suggestions from you, the expert, on what they should do if then. If they have this, then you should do that. If you have this, then you should do that, right? So your if-thens are very powerful because they don't require you to be in the chair. You can also have a call to action at the end of that whole flow that says, hey, if you need more help, make an appointment right here. So I am actually working through these right now personally, and I will keep you updated for the June webinar so that you are more up to date on how to use these tests, how to expose them on the front of your store. So guys, stay tuned. You're going to want to integrate your Evexia with the Get Healthy stores because you in June are going to learn how to become great lead acquisition marketers using testing. That's going to give people real results, valid results, and data-driven decisions by you. You can also couple that with education if you want to, funnel them into a course, funnel them into a appointment, funnel them into another test, whatever that looks like. And we're going to be here to help you do that. So, and where can I know more about Vitaboom? Oh, thanks, Courtney. Yeah, I know. It was cool that they pour custom panels. Angela, if you're integrated, yours will be in there already. If you're not, they will automatically integrate. And if you don't know how to do custom panels on Evexia, it's very simple. Under the tools, there is the panel creator. And basically, you just go in and you pick the blood analytes you want, and then you got to give your panel a name. So I've created lots of panels, the metabolic panel, the beyond the blood work panel, all the things that, go along with what I teach practitioners about analyzing functional blood work. So any other questions regarding testing? And if you want to unmute yourself or just drop it in the chat, I don't know if they can unmute or not, but you're welcome to keep dropping your questions in. How do I see my custom panel? I make a recommendation. It's in recommendations. So if you go back, Courtney, to the back of the store, and go to recommendations again. When you go to create recommendation, just go to products. You don't need to select anybody. It just won't automate the birth date. Testing, yeah. And then when you do the first drop down where it says test type on the left, it'll say specialty panels or panels, just click panels. Now, we don't have any custom panels, so it's not going to pull anything in here, but this is where they would live. Okay. And it would say like Angela's blood work panel, whatever you want to call it, but they would all be listed here. The other thing is if you use testing a lot, go ahead over to the test type again, Courtney, and click just specialty tests. Okay. So you see that little heart on the right? If you just click that heart, that's going to mark it as a favorite. So when you're in testing and you use like 5 or 6 tests all the time, like I do, you can mark it as your favorite. And then when you come here, you can click the little testing capsule on the left and then just the heart on the right, and all your favorites are going to come up, and then you don't have to search for everything. So that's some easy ways to kind of navigate your backend system. Can we import results from Evexia to auto select supplements from our store? Look at you, Anise. Mr. AI. Courtney, let's just give them a peek of what we built for them that's coming.
Okay.
All right. So I built my own AI tool, Dr. Anise. And so I came back to the team and I'm like, we need to build a Get Healthy assistant. So this is going to be coming available as soon as marketing is ready. So Courtney, can you just prompt this to pull catalog recommendations for cardiovascular health? So now you have to remember the entire catalog is in here. Okay. So now it's going to give you high level suggestions. Okay. Then what Courtney can do is say, can you give me brands and product types? It's probably still going to be running. Looks like garlic, hawthorn, vitamin B. So we've built this for you to help you. Now, some of these products may or may not be in your catalog, but what you can do is look at some that you think are good and you can add them. So in the back of the store, if you jump over there, Courtney, real quick, and just go to, just X out of that. Thank you. You see where it says Chat GPT right there? We have hyperlinked for you into your Chat GPT. In a couple of weeks, when we get the page all ready, it'll have the link to our AI assistant, which contains our entire catalog and all of our marketing materials. I mean, think about all the things that we do. We've educated and built this tool. Yes, you can. Dr. Anise, what you probably want to do is configure your own. So if you want to text me later, we'll talk. Because you don't want to put your whole catalog of your store into just Chat GPT. I would do something closed for yourself that knows you. But for everybody else, we can use this tool. And this is going to be a great way for you just to quickly search our entire catalog. Because you ever go to our search and you're like, I want CoQ10, but then it's like not all the things. This way, it's going to give you many different brands, labels, etc. You can ask for specific brand because it has all the catalog in it. Again, not necessarily on your store. So you would have to take some of these suggestions, go back to your products page, and add them to your store, okay? Because you build your store. Good, good. That was a really good question, Anise. See how you're AI thinking. We are AI thinking as well. So Courtney and team, they configured this whole tool. Again, any marketing things you want to show them on this, Courtney?
Yeah, so it basically we also have some resources in here as well, like marketing resources. So if you wanted to talk about you know, dropping in like give me a um
Email,
an email, yep,
content for an email or email content.
about, let's say one of these brands like Thorn Research, Perfusia, something like that. Um, it would provide you that email, but it's also giving you information based on our like guidelines as well, and giving you resources that you can use, like a coupon code or a, Canva link or something like that. That should all be pulling in here.
Let's
And
try it. Let's test it. I like to put things to the test. So look at that. Professional email written out for you.
yep,
Then, check the links because it is going to be like, go to marketing at Get Healthy Store. Probably don't want to do that. You probably want to copy this and then make that address, email address for you, change what this is. Now it's like, would you like it formatted for a Canva graphic? Well, yeah, just do the job for me, right? So as you can see, we built it to prompt as well. Again, this is going to be available when Courtney gets time to send it out. But maybe we give the guys on the webinar right now free access to it. Hmm?
yeah, I was gonna say you can be your
Let's just
tool
do
right
it.
now if you want it.
Quick, drop it in
So,
the chat. So everybody came live gets it.
yep, let me grab it.
All right. Any other questions? Look, April's like, yes, please. She, I thought I lived way outside of the earth, you know. All right. Excellent, guys. So go get your Evexia account, go integrate it, tools, EHR, choose Get Healthy. Lindsay will contact you when it's ready. Enjoy the AI tool. Um, yeah, always check spelling with AI tools, especially for bad spellers like me. And make sure that you start looking at your Evexia scripting tools in the back of your admin. Teach your staff how to do it. And if you guys need any help, please reach out to your account managers, Candace and or Andy. If you need marketing tips, tricks, you're not sure, reach out to marketing at Get Healthy Store. Courtney and Kat are both very happy to help you, even if you need help prompting. If you're trying to find something and it's not in there, we do appreciate feedback too. Constructive feedback, nice feedback, where you can say, hey, I would like to see the AI tool maybe do this, and we can go reconfigure it. So let me know how else we can help. And thanks for joining me today. Anything else, Courtney?
Yeah, just we do have another webinar actually next week for something similar, but we're focusing on how to streamline your protocol from testing to recommendation. And specifically, we're going to have an expert on enzymes coming on. So make sure to, come to that if you want to learn, if you want to dive a little bit deeper. It'll be somewhat of a review, but we'll also, dive deeper into enzymes. And then we also always have our events on our main page. If you go to gethealthy.store, where you may be logging in to access your admin, always check out our events because we have a ton coming up. So lots of opportunities for you guys to learn.
Yeah, and I want to say something on the transformation enzymes webinar. Like this is not a repeat. The benefit of transformation enzymes and what they do, I use them in almost all my protocols for biofilms. So great science. You're going to learn a lot about protocols there. And then, yes, I'm going to go through some of like, how do we build a bundle out of them? How do we do it with testing? What testing should we use, etc. So make sure you're in there for that. Did you put the chap in the chat? The
Yep,
link
the
in
link.
the chat? Yeah, that was link in chat all at the same time. It's the chat. Just put the chat in there. And make sure you sign up because if you can't come live, that's okay. But who's presenting with me? Kara?
Amy Rawls.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. So
Yep.
it's great. Very, very smart. And I now know how I know her because I knew her name. She's extremely experienced in Lyme. So please show up for that. It's going to be awesome. That's it. All right. You guys are free. Thanks for spending lunch with me. Talk to you soon.